And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. A Florida teacher is recovering after being brutally beaten inside the classroom by a student. That student, only 5 years old. The teacher found damn near catatonic. That student is now at the center of a criminal investigation.
We just heard that the teacher was really hurt.
Accused of attacking a teacher so brutally, she was taken to the hospital. Police say the incident began when two students in a special needs classroom began throwing things around and at teachers, along with flipping the chairs.
This is not the first time that this has happened at this school, in this classroom. I feel like there needs to be the proper support. This is a special needs class. However, they're not equipped to deal with things like this.
This mother says her child is in the same classroom and other students have been attacked as well, even saying one student went home with a black eye recently.
You continuously get this from one student, two student. It's an issue, and somebody needs to be held accountable. The parents need to be held accountable. The district needs to be held accountable. They dropped the ball. There needs to be somebody held accountable for what happened to that teacher.
When police arrived at the school last Wednesday morning, they say the teacher was sitting on the ground against the wall on one side of the room, appearing in a faint state. Others had to help hold her up as she was clearly weak and dazed. She then began coughing and dry heaving. The report says the teacher was able to blink and breathe regularly, but at no point was able to vocally respond or show signs of a response.
And this is what the 5-year-olds are doing. When they say special needs, I want you guys to understand they're not talking about like cognitively challenged kids. They're talking about behavioral kids with behavioral issues. You have a lot of that in these areas. I know some people say, well, how does a 5-year-old do that to a grown woman? Well, that woman doesn't want to hit that child back. They've been told to coddle these kids. And it's not like back in the day. I remember first grade and second grade. Miss Gaines Carter and Dr. Foster, my first and second grade teachers, they had the paddle, man. They'll pop you in your hand. You got to put your hand on. They pop you in your hand. Pop with a ruler. I was, 85, 86? After that, man, I didn't see that stuff anymore. Well, actually, when I went to Roots Activity Learning Center, that was a private school, Afrocentric school, like one of the ones that Umar supposed to be trying to build or something like that, or like the one the brother Q Butter got, some school like that, and they had a paddle, man. They give you the paddle. You gotta get against the wall. They give you the paddle in that school, but the 90s, it was that type of stuff was over by the time the 90s started. You didn't see that. So the kid misbehaves and he's coddled. And he misbehaves more, so he gets double the coddling the second time he misbehaves. Then he acts out like really aggressively, and then he's coddled to the triple extent. And the only response to his misbehavior is more and more exceedingly high levels or ratcheting up of the coddling. And they're creating little monsters, man. So I could believe a 5-year-old could do this, especially when the teacher knows that if she cuts her eyes at the kid, he tells his mom, her mom's going to come up there with a bunch of girls and beat the crap out of her. Or threaten her and, harass her and make her feel unsafe. So the teacher's, no-win situation.
It's just really sad. It's sad. It is heartbreaking. She is a sweet teacher. When I say, like, I trust this woman with my child. That's a second mom. You know what I'm saying? I trust her with my child. Amazing woman. And it's really, it has me so distraught that something like this can happen to her.
Now, that teacher has since been released from the hospital and did suffer a concussion. Police say while the child is still being investigated for possible aggravated assault with hands, fists, and feet, it's unlikely he'll be criminally prosecuted.
Well, John Elmore did not appear in court virtually today because he is in the hospital with critical injuries. Meanwhile, the judge appointed him a public defender. Fox 4 is learning more about the 18-year-old senior at Olathe East High School, accused of shooting assistant principal Dr. Caleb Stoppel and school resource officer Eric Clark. Olathe police say Clark returned fire, wounding the student and taking his gun.
Now, we all know if sisters would have gotten their way nationwide at the federal level, which they wanted, this resource officer wouldn't have been there. That kid would have just had free reign with his gun. But many states fought it. They fought back against the sisters, and they kept their resource officers. You know, every year or so, there's some viral video of some resource officer grabbing up some teen girl, usually a girl, and it's completely out of context, and it's just a snippet of the interaction that's the most egregious, or that will incur the most emotion and outrage. So it could be a 4-minute tape, and they'll find 8 seconds or 12 seconds or 20 seconds where you just look at it and you're like, damn, why are you doing her like that, man? That was my daughter, man. I'd have came with. And you know how they know how we are. So they did. It was a couple of those through the 2000 teens every year or so. So sisters got together and said, look, just get rid of school resource officers. And in many cities, in many school districts, they were able to do that. But not in all of them. And thank God they weren't able to get rid of them in this one.
Fox 4 is learning more about the 18-year-old senior at Olathe East High School, accused of shooting assistant principal Dr. Caleb Stoppel and school resource officer Eric Clark. Olathe police say Clark returned fire, wounding the student and taking his gun. Elmore is charged with attempted capital murder for allegedly shooting Officer Clark, a maximum of life in prison if he's convicted.
22 CR 632. State Cans versus Jalen Elmore.
Monday was Elmore's first court appearance, but he was not there due to his critical injuries following the shooting.
Deputy is Mr. Elmore in medical.
He's in the hospital, Your Honor. Johnson County District Attorney Steve Howe says there's a possibility Elmore could face more charges as the investigation develops. But his biggest question is how an 18-year-old got a hold of a ghost gun. Howe says that's the type of gun Elmore used to shoot Officer Clark and Dr. Stoppel.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear about that. Yeah, I hear about that, huh? Okay. That didn't make Sports Center about this high school star, man. This high school football star did, man. That didn't make Sports Center? Okay. I know a bunch of brothers on YouTube was talking about it. No, they weren't. Wow. Yeah, man. Thank God sisters did not get their way, man, in this school district. And there was a resource officer there. Thank God.
There's too many people who shouldn't have guns are getting guns, and it's a mechanism across this country where violence is being perpetrated by these ghost guns.
Howe says this.
He didn't just say violence is being perpetrated by these ghost guns, did he? I know he didn't say that.
There's too many people who shouldn't have guns are getting guns, and it's a mechanism across this country where violence is being perpetrated by these ghost guns.
House says this is a split investigation, a traditional criminal investigation and a separate investigation by an outside team because the officer fired his weapon.
Yeah, you hate to see people impact the rest of their lives by some of this, and you wish you could find opportunities to change their behavior before they ruin their lives and ruin the lives of other individuals.
And Elmore's public defender is longtime Johnson County DA Paul Morrison. He declined to comment. Christelle?
Our top story at 6, the community mourning the loss of a San Antonio teacher taken too soon. The 23-year-old had only been teaching at this Northwest Side charter school for 2 years. There are still questions surrounding his death. KENS 5 reporter Zach Briggs joining us live on the Northwest Side with more of what we know so far. Zach?
Well, tonight we're learning Michael Ashanas was a generous soul who dedicated his time and talent for the past 2 years here at Great Hearts Forest Heights School. It's a charter school here in town, but city county officials have yet to say and confirm how he died. Now take a look at your screen. This is Ashanas with his parents. A photo taken when he graduated from Christendom College in Virginia 2 years ago. That's where he developed his love for teaching. The college's website states Ashanas was killed on Thursday, but doesn't explain anything else. It also says Ashanas took part in theater, swing dancing, and the school's debate society.
All right, guys. Mr. Ashanas, man. 23. Had just been teaching at this charter school for 2 years. What a bright future this young man had. They say they don't know what happened to him. So they're saying at this point in the investigation, they didn't know what had happened to him. They didn't even know how he passed away. First, I want to check out this school, Great Hearts of Forest Heights. Okay, so Great Hearts of Forest Heights, 617 total students. Average teacher experience 1.7 years. So the teachers in the state of Texas, the average teacher has 11.1 years of experience. At this school right here, they have 1.7. Okay, so race and ethnicity. At this school, there's only 3 Sun teens. 3. 0.5% of the population of this school is of the Sun. 46% of the school are burritos. 34% of the school are gliders, and 17.5% of the school are crouching tigers. Wow. That's very illuminating. 3 Sun teens in the whole school. And they're not rated in a lot of things too, so I think because they're like a charter school, they're not rated. You can't find, the test scores and stuff like that. Okay, so off to the gun memorial. Let's see if we can find anything here about what might have happened to this young teacher. San Antonio school says elementary teacher was killed in parking lot outside of home. The Great Forest Heights community is mourning the loss of a teacher who passed away tragically on Thursday morning. In an email sent to parents and students, Forest Heights said Michael Canis, 23, was killed in a parking lot outside of his home. He was a 4th and 5th grade apprentice teacher at the school. Public data shows that Canis' last known address was in the 4800 block of Gus Eckert. It's the same location where San Antonio police responded to a shooting just before 8 a.m. on Thursday. Police have yet to confirm whether Canis was the victim in that shooting. So hearing that it was at 8 a.m., that rules out any of the students. No student's going to come to your house at 8 a.m. If a student was going to shoot him, the way young people think, they would have caught him at school or leaving school. I don't think any student would have came to his house before 7 o'clock and just be waiting outside of his house. So I don't think he had any beefs with the students at the school. Once officers arrived, they found the shooting victim lying on the ground near his vehicle. He was pronounced dead at the scene, according to San Antonio Police Department Chief William McManus. It appears he was trying to get inside his vehicle, he added. Witnesses said they saw a man in a blue hoodie running from the scene. So we have a man in a blue hoodie running from the scene. Sounds like an attempted carjacking. Somebody trying to catch somebody going to work in the morning, tried to carjack them. Things went left. Gunfire erupted, shots rang out, and our young teacher was killed. That's what it sounds like to me. And I wish we had more information about this man in the hoodie that was seen running from the scene.
He died. Now take a look at your screen. This is Ashana with his parents. A photo taken when he graduated from Christendom College in Virginia 2 years ago. That's where he developed his love for teaching. The college's website states Ashana was killed on Thursday, but doesn't explain anything else. It also says Ashana took part in theater, swing dancing, and the school's debate society. A Great Hearts spokesperson also provided a statement that expresses the grief felt by the school community. It describes Ashana as a man who faithfully served students in and out of the classroom. Now, let's go back to yesterday when San Antonio police responded to a shots fired call at the Eckert Heights apartments just before 7 a.m., just a short distance from the school. They found a man lying dead next to his car. Police say the suspect in a blue hoodie was seen running away from the scene. Now, the Bexar County medical examiner could not confirm the victim's identity, but they could confirm the victim's age being 23. But right now, both scenes not being linked by authorities. And meanwhile, grief counselors on site here at the school when students and staff come back to school, and for anyone that needs support during this difficult time. For now, we're live on the Northwest Side. Zach Briggs, KENS 5.